Welcome back to Legends Live, as presented by the National Basketball Retired Players Association. This is the home of all our NBA and WNBA legends. I'd like to remind our viewers that you can submit questions during the show. And without any further ado, I'd like to get to our guest. He is former Dallas Maverick. He is a current college basketball analyst. And I'm going to have to ask him for clarification on this one. Is Illinois fighting a Illini? Illinian? I don't know. It's Stephen Bardo. Stephen, thank you for joining us. And how is it? How do you say that?
You said it right first time. Illini.
Illini. Okay. I didn't know what the alum of that was, but thank you for joining us, Stephen. How are you? How's quarantine treating you?
As good as can be expected, Tyler. I mean, I was talking to Bridget earlier, just trying to keep my head clear and focused. You know how it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's one thing I got to ask. I feel like I got to ask you off the top. Everybody's getting their takes in, and I saw you tweeting about it. LeBron versus MJ. Who you got? Everybody's getting their takes in. I feel like you got to get your take in too.
I won't consider LeBron the greatest until he matches the number of titles that Jordan has. Then then we have to have that conversation.
Okay.
But until then, I still give Jordan the slight edge.
Okay. Where do you who's your top three, or where does LeBron fall? Right. Where does title number 4 put him?
He's in it. I put him like in the top 6 because this is hard. Because I'm old school, Tyler.
Okay.
Wilt Chamberlain could have played in any era.
I agree.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar could have played in any era. Those two guys are usually left out of that conversation, but they need to be put in there along with Jordan. Larry Bird is one of my favorites. Nobody really puts him in that category as well. So those guys, and then I put LeBron right in there. LeBron, Magic, Kobe.
Like that next kind of tier. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think he can get to that 6 though? He just got 4. He's still going strong. So does the 6 look attainable in your eyes?
I think so, because I think what's going to happen, Anthony Davis will be key moving forward. Right. LeBron will be in his 18th season. I believe LeBron's trying to wait for Bronny. Bronny's got to go to rehab for that. Missed up there, but
he was having some fun when Dad was out of town.
And that's all. And you know what? We all did it. We just
I was gonna say, it's 14 man.
People watching, right? So,
exactly.
But I think that LeBron wants to be the first father-son duo to hit the NBA, and then he'll go off and do his thing. But I think Anthony Davis, the more that he's around LeBron, the more that he sees LeBron's dedication to his body. Anthony Davis's body is going to be the only thing that keeps him away from reaching his potential. Right. He's got all the skill set, but he is not durable, and he's got to get more durable. If he can get durable, I believe LeBron can get those 6 titles.
Now, what do you make of like the bubble, just as a former player? How? Because some guys said they preferred like the atmosphere, being away from everything. You kind of lock in. Some guys say it kind of threw them off their game. How you think you would have handled that?
Tyler, I was different, man, because I came off the bench. So anytime I was playing, bro, I was happy. I think that it's funny because guys in my era, I heard Scottie Pippen, he was a little negative about it. I heard somebody else say something about it. But the thing that I liked was that, guys that came in selling wolf tickets, the Clippers, they were much less effective. And hear me out. The reason I say that is because when you're in a loud arena, you can chirp and talk and all that stuff that you want, and it kind of gets drowned out.
Right.
Most people don't hear it. But when you're in a bubble and the situation down in Orlando, you have to be very strategic about how you trash talk.
Right.
You have to elevate your game. I didn't see that from the Clippers, and they got knocked out early. I had them as a title favorite. So to me, I love the bubble situation because you went back to the basics. You went back to like being on the playground when no adults are around. You had to self-govern. You had to, have some intestinal fortitude. And the teams who had the most character, in my opinion, elevated to the top.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there's been some talk about, does this count or anything, or does this count any less, or is there asterisk? And I've never really bought that. Like, I think just watching the playoffs, I think we saw comfortably the two best teams. I think we saw the best team from the West meet the best team. So, like, what's the asterisk on that?
I agree, and I think that it was, people want to put an asterisk by it, but it was much more difficult. Think about being in the season, getting 4 months to not play, and then restarting and having to get yourself back into, game shape, playoff shape. I mean, these guys are fine-tuned machines with their bodies, their cyclical movements, and their biorhythms are such that everything was kind of wonky.
Right.
But yet the level of play was outstanding, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. You think that was? I mean, it had to have been that the no travel, right? Everybody just getting to stay there, no travel every other day. I mean, I had to.
I think no travel, cut down on the side pieces, cut down on a few other things. Yeah, I think that helped.
Do you think it hurt other guys though? Like being away from that? Like you said, guys have their rhythms, their routines.
Obviously somebody had to get lemon pepper wings, and broke protocol. So I think there are certain guys that, they have their own routine, and whether it's coming down after a game, utilizing, beverages or party favors, or, having friends around or whatever, it interrupted some players' routine. I think it affected some guys. You can see that.
Definitely. And talking with the Clippers, we just see that they announced Tyronn Lue as their head coach. What do you make of that move?
I was kind of surprised, Tyler, because I thought the longer the search went, I thought that his chances lessened. Mm-hmm. I know that Jeff Van Gundy's name has been popular. I know people are throwing around Jason Kidd. I'm not exactly sure who are the other candidates for the Clippers, but I was a little surprised that they waited this long to make the decision. To me, it feels like they were probably holding out for somebody that they didn't get. And so they brought Lue in, knowing, they knew what he could provide. They were comfortable with him, but they were really, I think, trying to hit a home run. They couldn't hit the home run, so they went for the triple, and they brought in Lue.
Okay, him is the guy he's replacing. What do you make of Doc Rivers going over to Philly?
I love Doc Rivers, and Doc and I are friends. Play together with Atlanta Hawks. Just a great guy. I'm concerned for Doc. That Philly situation. It's easy to point the finger at Embiid and Simmons, but there's something chemistry-wise that's off in that franchise. I don't quite know what it is. They were building. And then Jimmy Butler leaves, they bring in Al Horford, and it looks like they were really going to challenge for the Eastern Conference, and there's something missing there. And I think Doc is a great relationship guy. Right. I think that he'll get to the bottom of it. I think he'll air things out. So guys, whatever grievance you have or whatever, get it out. And I think Doc will do quite well there. I'm concerned for him though, because that's my man.
He's got his work cut out for him, but like you said, he's got. You step into a job with two young talents like that, it's a lot worse jobs out there, So if I think he can. I was surprised they went that way, and I was surprised he jumped in so quick. I think it's some good jobs. I was going to ask you, like, what do you think is the best available job still? Chicago just got filled. New Orleans. New Orleans still available. Indiana.
And Houston.
Yep. Yeah. What do you make of those? What do you think is the best or most attractive job?
Wow. On the surface, Tyler, I would say Houston, but if you look deeper, it's going to be very difficult to rebuild that roster that D'Antoni destroyed, in my opinion.
Okay.
When you trade away Clint Capella, come on, man. And, I'm not a fan of D'Antoni's system.
Okay.
I think it's a gimmick. And so you had pieces in there, but now if you come into Houston, you have to deal with Harden and Westbrook. No doubt, they're ballers. Yeah. But if you don't play a similar system to what they've grown accustomed to under D'Antoni, you got to kind of blow the thing up and redo everything. Right. And that's going to take time. And I'm not sure with a Westbrook who plays as hard as anybody in the league, and his body, it's starting to break down a little bit with the mileage. Harden has been fairly injury-free for the most part for the last couple of years, but he's getting mileage on his body. Right. PJ Tucker having a guard guy 6'7" inches taller and 50 pounds heavier every night. and he's in his 30s, they're going to have a roster turnover, so to speak. So on the surface, I would say Houston. I would say, in my opinion, I would go to Indiana because New Orleans is going to have extreme pressure on them.
Yeah,
with Zion and an emerging Brandon Ingram. I mean, like they've got some talent, and they're going to have pressure on them pretty quickly to produce. I think Indiana has a very good roster. I think Nate McMillan did an excellent job there, and he left the cupboard full. So I think Indiana would be the most attractive situation right now.
Okay, I was going to ask you as far as Houston, how you felt about the shift Mike D'Antoni made, but I think you answered it. So you weren't a big fan of the super small ball.
Tyler, I think that analytics is a part of the tool. It's a tool in the toolbox. It's not the toolbox.
Right.
That a lot of people
just one piece of it. Yeah.
And I think that it's not been shown because what people will say, well, Golden State did it. No, Golden State didn't run the same system. It's a different system. So I haven't seen anybody win the way that Houston was trying to play this year. I haven't seen anybody win meaningful games that way.
Right.
And so I'm sure Coach D'Antoni is a great guy. But what people don't realize is that Steve Nash made him who he is. He looked like a brilliant coach in Phoenix. It wasn't D'Antoni, it was Steve Nash.
Right.
It made him look brilliant. And then he's been able to, get opportunities after that. But the Houston situation is going to be very difficult. And I know from a fan's perspective, it looks attractive because they have such top-heavy talent, but that roster has got to be retooled, and it might take a while.
What do you think of Steve Nash stepping into Brooklyn? Like, you talk about a team that's going to have high pressure, like high expectations. Like, I think they're going to have to win right away, and he's going to have to learn on the job. What do you make of that?
I commend Sean Marks and the Nets organization because during the time, people were calling for black coaches to get that position, black coaches to get opportunity. If I'm Sean Marks and Steve Nash wants to coach, I'm going to get Steve Nash. I thought that's a heck of a hire.
Right.
I think that his IQ is unquestioned. He's had success in the business realm. Here's why this is important, Tyler. Because guys in the NBA are getting smarter. They're starting to understand. They have to diversify their money. They have to diversify their opportunities. Right. If you've got a head coach who was an MVP, one of the best players, one of the best point guards ever played, he's got a relationship with the best player on the team, a really strong personal relationship with the best player on the team, and he's had business success. So you can imagine Kyrie Irving going to Coach Nash is like, hey, man, I got this opportunity, this business opportunity. What do you think?
Right.
Who has that in the league?
Right.
I think it's a tremendous hire for the Nets, and I think Steve Nash is going to do a hell of a job because to me, he was one of the I liked watching him as much as any player that I've seen play, and I think that will translate to his team and how they perform on the court.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do you think Nash will have, like, he was a star player, do you think he'll have some issues, not getting through, but if you come in, you're the star player, you're KD's guy. If you're the 7th, 8th, 9th man on the bench, is he going to be able to make that connection, you think, as a first-year coach?
Oh, I think so because, you know what, Tyler, I don't have any rings on me, but rings talk, bro. I don't know if they give you a ring for the NBA MVP, but if he could just walk in like Phil Jackson did in his first day of coaching the LA Lakers with all
both MVPs behind you, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean, players respect accomplishments. Players respect accomplished players that have come before. And I think anybody on that roster will have supreme respect and will want to get to have a relationship with Coach Nash.
Switching gears a little bit, I saw something else I saw you tweeting about the Greg Marshall situation in Wichita State, the coaching, and that just feels like it's been, I don't know, chaos. As a college basketball analyst, like you see these teams, these coaches, what do you make of that?
Tyler, you know what? I'm just gonna kick it real. Greg Marshall has had issues before like this. I don't know about him hitting players and choking out assistants or whatever, but he's had issues with his anger, with how he displays himself. His spouse has had an issue during an NCAA tournament game with officials. So this is nothing new.
Right.
It's amazing to me that the fiefdom that these college coaches have still seems you can't penetrate it.
Right.
You know, these allegations of these incidents happened years ago.
Right.
And yet they happen, they get squashed, they move on, the team wins, everybody's happy, and they tend to forget. And then it takes an old tweet or an old video or somebody to come out that's disgruntled to bring something up. And I just don't like coaches putting hands on players because here's the thing. If I think it was Shaq Morris that he hit, if Shaq Morris would have come back and hit him, he'd be in the hospital.
Yeah.
And then they press charge.
I was gonna say, and Shaq Morris would be in prison. So
right. But he gets hit. He can't go to anybody to protect him.
Right.
He can't go to the police, he can't go to campus police because Greg Marshall makes $3.6 million to $4 million a year.
Right. Can't go to the athletic director or
So it's an unfortunate situation, but there's a silver lining in that these things need to be exposed.
Right.
If we're gonna allow athletes at the college level to get name, image, and likeness, then we need to address this as well. If you're going to be a college coach, you have ultimate control, but you cannot put your hands on athletes. You cannot demean the people who are supporting you in terms of your assistant coaches. It's just not acceptable.
Yeah. Who are some of your favorite college coaches? I mean, not even this. I mean, it can be on-court stuff, but I mean, just in terms of, I guess how they run their program, environment, everything. Who are some of your favorite programs or coaches?
I love Leonard Hamilton. I think Leonard Hamilton may be the most underrated college coach in the business.
Okay, Florida State, yeah.
He likes it like that because think about it. He's in the ACC. He's in the shadow of Duke, North Carolina, and Syracuse.
Yep.
3 coaches that have won national championships. So he's at a football school, but he's in the Sweet 16, Elite 8 almost every year. And he recruits some of the best talent in the country year in, year out. Runs a clean program. You don't hear about him getting in trouble. You don't hear any negativity about him. And he's a good dude. Yeah. He's just a good man. Another guy is Bill Self. That's my dude. Okay. Bill Self was at Illinois.
I was going to say that's the old Illinois ties.
Yes, sir. I was doing radio at the time. Really developed a good relationship with Coach Self. Bill Self is like that cool Uncle Tyler.
Okay.
If you got problems with your girl, you can go to. Like his players, if they have problems with their girlfriends or their partners, I should say, to be more politically correct, or they're having issues somewhere that's off the court, not in the classroom, you can go to Bill Self and he'll sit down, he'll listen. He knows when to put his arm around you. He knows when to get up after you. But you won't find a player that has played for Coach Self that does not love him. You cannot find one. So those 2 guys, and Thad Matta is a friend of mine that, he's trying to get back into coaching. He's taking a break. But Thad Matta used to be at Ohio State, good friend. There's a number of really, really talented guys at the college level, but those guys kind of stick out to me.
Okay. Speaking of the Illini guys, you got to give me an all-time Illinois starting 5. I don't mean just I mean, it could be guys born in Illinois. I mean, give me Nick Anderson, Isaiah Thomas, Anthony, whoever you got. Who's the all-time? Throw yourself at whoever you got. Who's the starting 5?
Tyler, I wouldn't be in the top 100 in the state of Illinois, man.
Come on, I think that's a testament to the state. Illinois has got a lot of ball players, man. Yeah, a lot of good ball players.
And we do, and we benefit from the city of Chicago, huge market, huge basketball city. Top 5. Isaiah Thomas.
Okay.
And I got to go I can't go by. I'm not going to go by position. I'm going to go by players.
I got you. Okay.
All right. So I got Isaiah Thomas.
Okay.
Derrick Rose.
Okay.
Mark Aguirre.
Okay.
Cassie Russell.
Old school.
And wow.
One more.
Man.
trying to think of some more. It's a lot.
I know, man.
Tim Hardaway.
My mind wants to say Anthony Davis.
Okay.
And I'll just go with him right now. But but I'm sure I'm missing somebody, and somebody be like, "Man, what you do?"
Yeah, somebody you'll have that text or tweet soon.
There you go. You know it.
I saw you expanding the game like overseas, doing some work in Africa. How did you get involved with that?
You know what, Tyler? I saw that NBA was going to be heavily involved with Basketball Africa League, and I booked a trip to Senegal because the NBA has a what they call a training academy there, an NBA academy.
Okay.
In Saly, Senegal. And I like going back to the motherland anyway. I just like going back to the continent. So I've been to Ghana, Nigeria, and Senegal. So I went to Senegal on this trip, and I hired a couple of videographers over there. And I went and interviewed the head of Basketball Africa League and the coaches, and shot video and put together a nice piece about the NBA Academy. And this would be the precursor to the Basketball Africa League. Put it up. It got tons of views in Nigeria, Senegal, all over Africa. Got a lot of views here. And Basketball Africa League, I stayed in touch with the guys. I told them I really want to be one of the commentators. And so I was going to join them. And then COVID-19 hit, threw a monkey wrench in everything.
Yeah.
And so they may have some kind of ceremony games in December I was going to be a part of, but they couldn't get the safety protocols correct and all that. So I'll probably join them in June when they really kick off the league. But I had to figure out, Tyler, how do I get involved with this? What can I provide of value that would assist NBA Africa get some exposure, and then put me in touch with those people that are decision makers? And that's what I came up with, and it was a great idea because it worked.
Yeah, that's love right there.
Yeah. So just, man, Tyler, and I'm hoping there are a few retired players listening, and even current players listening. We have so many skill sets that you develop through playing this game. This basketball is the best game by far. It's not even close in terms of the skill sets that you develop. And so a lot of times we're not trained to sit down and think about what our personality type is, what our strengths are, and what we can provide value to someone else. It's all about providing value, because if you go with that in mind, it will always come back to you.
I see your Bardos Breakdown podcast, your background. Tell us about that.
Man, this was born 4 or 5 years ago. I started doing, Facebook Lives. Just start talking, and I'd have a white, like just a bland background, and the University of Michigan sports information director, Tom Wyrod, said, "Man, you need a step and repeat." So I went and got one that was terrible, was ugly. I got a second one that was better, a little bit better. Than I got this one, so I'm okay. I'm getting there. But Bardos Breakdown is kind of a passion play, because I knew that when I started at television, everybody was still, pretty much in television. And then all of a sudden the cable cutting started. Yep. And then, my business partner on another venture is really good on the online piece. He's one of the early adopters to YouTube and basketball training and things like that. And so he really showed me what was coming, what was on the horizon. So this is my own show that I interview guests like Chris Broussard, BJ Armstrong, Glenn Rice, Craig Hodges. I've had a lot of people on it. And then we discuss what's hot. We discuss the games. We discuss trades and draft picks and all kind of stuff. Just anything around the game of basketball. That's what Bardos Breakdown is all about.
Gotcha. I think Bridget's got some questions queued up from our audience here. Let's see. First question is from Trireme. I hope I said that right. It said, ask him about the Flying Illini. So I guess just tell me about your Flying Illini. Puff your chest a little bit about them.
Well, we were one of the most iconic teams in college basketball history. That team and that moniker that Dick Vitale gave us has really opened the door for me in terms of having credibility in this media space. And so I was able to, get some internships while I was still playing professionally because people remembered my name in this region in Chicago. And I was able to parlay that into University of Illinois men's radio for a few years. Then I was CBS 2 Chicago sports reporter. Then I got the president of CBS at the time, Dennis Swanson's a dear friend and a University of Illinois alum.
Okay.
See how that works, Tyler?
Yeah.
So he put me in, and I ran with it. Now I've done the work, and I've worked my tail off.
Definitely.
But I needed an assist, like all of us do, and I got that assist. And so that all started with that Flying Illini team, and that team, I mean, Nick Anderson, Kendall Gill, Kenny Battle, Lowell Hamilton, Marcus Liberty, Larry Smith, Irvin Small, PJ Bowman, Andy Kaufman, just a special group. Almost all of the players are from the state of Illinois.
I was gonna say I knew a lot of Illinois guys in that mix. Yeah,
and so at that point, late 80s, early 90s, there was still regional pride.
Right.
Guys go all over the place now. There's no really regional pride, but we still had a lot of regional pride. And so when you had your state across your chest, it meant something back then. And we represented the state the best way we could, and it turned out to be great. We had a great run, lost to our friends Glenn Rice and Michigan on a last-second shot in the Final Four. But that doesn't tarnish what we were able to do. And 30-something years later, people still talk about that Flying Illini team.
See, our next question we've got from A.A. Albert. So thoughts on Illinois this upcoming year?
The Fighting Illini have a chance to be in the Final Four. There's no doubt about it. They may have the best lead guard center tandem in the country in Ayo Dosunmu, who put his toe in the draft waters and returned, and Kofi Coburn, who's an extremely talented 7-foot center, who's a sophomore. And those two guys coming back are two of the, I'd say, top 10 players in the country. And in college basketball, if you've got future pros, if you've got 2 or 3 pros on your team, you have a chance to win a national championship. And that's how good Illinois can be this year. The Big Ten is going to be brutal.
Yeah, I was going to say they'll have their work cut out for them.
Because Wisconsin returns everybody, and Wisconsin won the Big Ten title last year. Iowa returns just about everybody, and they were outstanding. Michigan State is going to be Michigan State. Ohio State is in there as well. So Illinois has a chance. They've got a chance for a special year. I would not be surprised to see them in the Final Four in Atlanta.
See, next question we got here is from Coach Lee via Instagram. He said, do you ever think about getting into coaching?
Absolutely not.
No?
Coaching is Tyler, coaches are overworked, underpaid, and underappreciated. Now, when people say, oh, what are you talking about underpaid? Nick Saban makes $9 million. Mike Krzyzewski makes $9 million. If you spent a day with those coaches, you would understand what I'm talking about.
Right.
Some of those guys get up at 4 or 5 in the morning, and they don't go to sleep until midnight or 1. That's about 10 months out of the year. Not just in season.
Right. Out of season too. Yep.
It's a grind. That part is a grind that I don't like. But the other part, Coach Lee, why I don't coach, I don't have the demeanor for players that don't play hard. I'd be Greg Marshall. And I don't. And I've never put my hands on anybody. But I used to pick fights with players who I thought were on my team that they weren't playing hard. I'd pick fights with them. Especially when I was playing professionally, because I had a wife. I was married at the time and had my first son. I'm like, dude, you're affecting my ability to feed my child. I might have to hurt you.
Right.
And I know that if I was coaching, it wouldn't be to that level, but I'd be like, dude.
Right. You don't want to risk it getting to that level.
Huh?
Right.
You know what I'm saying, Tyler? So
yeah.
I love what I'm doing right now. I can talk on air. I can be wrong. I don't lose my job.
Right.
So I like where I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Self-aware. That's what Tom said here. He said the self-aware king. Got another question here from Bask. Bask says, which NBA player would be the best WWE wrestler?
Current player. Wow.
Be the best wrestler.
Current player would be Joel Embiid because he's silly and a fool, and he
could play it up and play to the audience. I can see that.
Yeah, he currently, but a former player who would be the best WWE would be Ron Artest, without a doubt.
Oh wow, yeah.
Meta World Peace would be fantastic as a WWE wrestler.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think he heavyweight title contender.
There you go.
I think it was all the. Oh, you got one more question. We're putting together a Legends playlist.
Okay.
So give me a song or two, anything, whatever you're listening to right now. Be old, new, slow, fast, whatever's in your ears, on the road, working out, whatever.
I'm a Tribe Called Quest fan, and I'm trying to get all this online stuff going. So my song is Peace, Prosperity, and a Little Paper.
Okay. The motto. Okay.
Yeah, for Tribe Called Quest. That would be my contribution.
Okay. We will get that added.
Okay.
Stephen Bardo, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Hey, Tyler, this is great, man. And thanks for joining Legends, man. We really appreciate you being a part of the organization.
Oh, of course. Glad to be here. And let's talk soon.
All right, we'll do.
Right. That does it this week for Legends Live. We've got new episodes live every Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern. You can catch them on the NBA Alumni Twitter, the Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch page. You can catch any replays of old episodes at legendsofbasketball.com/legendslive. You can catch the audio replay to all our conversations on Apple Podcasts or Spotify by searching for Legends Studio. And we will catch you next Thursday.